So if you think about a cabinet agency, those people are overseeing an area of policy. These people, while their policy might be specialized, ultimately, their job is to serve the president, to make the president's job better, to make the president's job more efficient, easier. If you think about the school, Kenny, if you go back to Mr. Spain again, if you put Mr. Spain up here, who is probably the person that has the most proximity and the most access to Mr. Spain on a daily basis?
No,
his secretary, Ms. Costello, right? Okay? And Ms. Costello, as his secretary, is with him all the time. So can you imagine, like, if he, like, has a question or he has to make a decision and he's like, I'm not really sure, the person who he is most likely to bounce ideas off is the person that's sitting next to him. The person that on a daily basis takes care of him, like does things for him, like supports him in his role. So kind of what's happened over time is that cabinet officials have become more removed for the president. And a lot of times we talk about if you want to influence the president, being part of the EOP, those are the people that actually do, because they have proximity and they have control. Again, in the video that we talked about, you saw there was a guy named Leon Panetta, and he kept talking about, as chief of staff for the president, like how he controlled access to the president. He decided who could fly with him on Air Force One. He decided who was going to get to bend his ear. And so he could even say to a secretary, sorry, you don't get time with the president today. I'm going to control that access. So it's kind of diminished the role of the cabinet in a lot of ways. But why is the cabinet really important to the office of the presidency? Should we have a horrible crisis? See if anybody remembers this.
The cabinet.
The secretaries, what is their role, not in relationship to the president, but to the presidency itself? Just that office. It's the reason that they can't all be in one place at one time. Good. Okay, so the Presidential Succession Act. So if you go back to the cabinet, back in 1949, remember we were super afraid that the Soviets were going to blow us all up? So they created this line to the presidency. And they said that if the president dies, if the vice president dies, then the speaker will become president. Well, if the speaker were to die, then it would go to the pro tem. If the pro tem dies, then it goes to the cabinet in the order in which they have been created. So that currently we have a line to the presidency. After the president, there are 18 people in line to be the presidency. And so they can't all be in the same place at the same time. Just in case. All right. Any questions about that? About the structure stuff? All right, so flip the paper over, and you have question 3. Question 3 says, how does the structure of the bureaucracy affect policy making? And I am going to ask several of you to share your answers, because I think there's a couple different ways you can answer this. So how does structure affect the ability of them to create policy?